is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America.
A new vision will govern our land.
Our job is not to divide. Our job is to bring people together.
By the people, for the people, and of the people.
Our youth has power.
Hey everyone, and thank you for tuning in to our new episode of Border Talks. It's myself, Alex, Jessica,
hello,
Emily,
hi,
and Juan.
Hello.
So we have a returning cast for this episode. But before we start, we do want to talk about what happened to the original episode. I was going to replace this one.
Oh yeah, we were gonna originally record an episode about political subcultures in Laredo, and we were gonna actually have a guest come on to speak, or two guests. But unfortunately, you know what happened the last week. We are having actually a special quarantine episode today, so it's gonna be a little longer than usual. But yeah, it's just gonna be us four for today. So sorry, but I hope that it's still a good listen for you guys.
Our topics for today, we're gonna just talk about how Tamiu is transitioning to the virtual learning environments. We're gonna talk about students' opinions, our own opinions about how we feel. We're gonna discuss some of the housing updates that have been occurring here at Tamiu, and then we're gonna kind of move into the new Trump administration bill, why it was opposed, what's gonna be the future of it, and sort of the language that has been coming out of this new bill.
So today we're going to start off with some good news. I don't know if you all saw on Facebook, on Student Network, students were complaining about the situation with housing. So housing on Tamiu, it's mostly used by students who are not from here. Like myself, I'm from the Valley, the 956 area. Woo!
Roughly 956.
Woo! Yes. Students were really concerned because housing sent an email during the spring break, and they said, well, Tamiu is going into a virtual environment. I don't know if we mentioned this before. And housing said, you are allowed to come back. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But then it never said it about the money. We were never told if the money was going back to us or not. So students started writing a letter on a Word document. And they were complaining a lot about a bunch of stuff. But the main thing right now is the money. Why are we getting charged if we're not going to be there? But today, housing sent out an email, and they said that students will get a waiver for whatever balance they didn't use on housing and their meal plans, because it is required at the ROC for you to have a meal plan. And also, if you were doing it on payments, let's say you owed $200, you don't have to pay those anymore. They said in order for us to qualify for the waivers, we need to move out before April the 1st.
Oh, so that they can reduce the month's cost for you guys?
So we need to move out by April 1st if we want to get the waiver.
That's you have 2 weeks to move out.
Yeah.
They're kicking you guys out.
They are. I mean, they said that we can still stay. If we want to stay. Myself, I don't know what's going on because I'm a work study, and they haven't told our office if we're going to be working from home or not. I also don't know if we're going to be working from home until May 31st.
Do you still have meals too?
I have meals. I bought them before spring break.
But are they serving as of now?
Yeah, so the diner is still open. The food court is open as well. They do have limitations. Today, I went to buy Chick-fil-A, non-sponsored. And there was an inspector. And he was telling everyone who works at the food court that they need to tape or mark, somehow have markings on the floor for students to be 6 feet away from each other. So I think the limit is 3 feet.
Yeah.
Even with the cashier today, it was super awkward because I had to pay and I was super far away from the counter. So I had to I threw my ID, I threw my tips, my drink.
Limit the risk.
Your tips?
No.
I was like, you're tipping them? I'm
no,
sorry.
No, my chips. No, mis patatas.
I should have been tipping them this whole time.
No. And it's not, I didn't really like it, honestly, because I asked for ranch. I didn't get any. I got ketchup and mustard. I don't do ketchup or mustard.
Wait, what does the ranch have to do? Are they limiting ranch?
Ranch. And you can't get your food. You go there. You're 6 feet apart from each other. They ask you, what would you like? And I told them I would like a spicy chicken burger. I would like some fries. or like some ranch, barbecue, Chick-fil-A sauce. I only got ketchup and mustard.
So you can't get your own condiments, really?
It's like a
Yeah.
buffet style, right? So you're supposed to be able, usually you get pretty close to the
Yeah.
food to serve yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to ask it and they'll give it to you. But because the inspector was there, I guess everyone was a little nervous because the lady was also trying to explain to me what was going on. And she forgot about the ranch. I mean, it didn't stop me from eating the sandwich. But yeah, housing.
Yeah.
So housing did say that they're going to be basically students can withdraw from the lease, and those are very good news. I mean, we still have issues with housing. Don't get me wrong. My microwave has black mold. The light doesn't work in the microwave. I called to get it fixed. Yeah.
I mean, that's also a health violation.
Yeah.
And I know that some of the conditions, like there needs to be some repairs and,
Yeah.
but anyways, I think it's awesome that a bunch of students were able to bring their concerns together, like you said, because instead of going individually, you've kind of formed like a student union in a way where like the residents, people who live here on campus, were all able to come together, and it builds like numbers. It lets them feel like a larger group, and it lets their voices be heard. So I think it was really cool that they all like felt the empowerment to
Yeah. So I have a friend, I think you all know her, Rosa. She was in the last PSA meeting. She's from Laredo, but she was staying at the ROC last semester because she's a nursing major. This semester, however, she was needed back home. So she's been trying to cancel her lease since December. And she was never able to. Like, they were always making up excuses. She would go in person. They were like, oh, the person in charge is not here. She would call through the phone, and they're like, they just left. Through the email, they were like, they'll get to you soon, and they never did. So right now, it's just, I hope she gets all the money back, because she didn't step foot in the dorms whatsoever just to go to the office. And
So she's been charged since December when she wanted to leave, or she left.
Yeah, she left. So basically what they do when you get financial aid, they first charge your classes and tuition, then housing, then whatever you have left. So what happened with Rosa was that she was automatically charged. And it's a couple of thousands of dollars, honestly.
And will they refund that?
I hope they do. I mean, I guess now she just has a better opportunity to talk to them. Like, now they're hands-on with the situation. I don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm going to stay there. It's pretty scary not being with my 3 roommates.
They're not there?
They already left.
No. They already left, yeah.
Okay, how many like people living at the UV would you say already left, and how many are still there?
There's very few cars.
Oh.
There's like 18 cars. And I know there's some people who don't drive like myself. So there's probably like 5 outsiders. But yeah, it's very, very empty. I know the 4 people who live below me, they left. My roommates all left. And there's just one more person living the room that's above mine. It's pretty empty.
But I mean, I'm sure, well, I know student workers are still required at the moment to be at school working with other people.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are required to stay, especially because they're taking extra measures for the COVID-19. I think every 2 hours, maintenance is going and cleaning the door handles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Go maintenance.
Yeah, go maintenance.
Our boys in brown.
Honestly, like right now we're seeing a lot of the people who are really necessary in society. Like, honestly, thanks to those people and all the medical professionals and like people who still have to go to work, government officials, tons of people.
Yeah.
HEB workers.
Honestly, HEB workers. Honestly, dollar store.
Strikes workers.
Strikes.
The dollar stores. Dollar General, honestly.
Also the meat market people.
Oh yeah, we've been going to meat markets.
Yeah, the unsung heroes.
Another thing, guys, support your local businesses, please. Because I know, like, all those larger companies, like, it's very easy to go to McDonald's or Whataburger, which I have done myself, not gonna lie. But they have insurance, and they're like large corporations. They have like a really solid foundation, And local businesses really need the support right now because a lot of people aren't going out. And when they do, they look to their favorite fast food. Like, I'm craving McDonald's fries, not sponsored, but I'm just, that's an example, you know? Yeah, and all these small businesses, like the small grocers, a lot of them still have supplies. Like they have food, they have eggs. I saw somebody with a lot of eggs.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. But I mean, local businesses, of course, I know that there is like a problem with like private sellers, not local businesses, but people on Facebook price gouging items.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
People who bought things like in bulk in preparation to sell them at a way higher price during this time period where a lot of people are very vulnerable. I think that's kind of messed up.
I think they were showing like people from Laredo were selling disinfectant sprays on eBay for like triple the price.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I mean, those people are out there and they're ready to make profits.
Ready to make a buck.
Yeah, anything.
Yeah, and I saw somebody who was on Facebook and they were, because what's the normal price of milk, would you say, for like
Between
milk?
$2 and $3.
Well, I get almond milk. I don't know if that makes a difference.
It's a little more expensive.
It's the bougie milk.
But for 3 little gallons or packages of, I don't know, remember what it was, what size, but of milk, that person paid $18 and something cents from a private seller somewhere on Facebook. And I was like, that's actually terrible. And I know that there is also, if you see price gouging, there's a number that you can contact. I'm sure it's easily accessible on Google. But yeah, just keep an eye out for that because that's not legal.
They were also trying to price gouge during like the Hurricane Harvey in Houston.
Oh,
There is
really?
like situations where people are trying to price gouge for like water bottles and like other supplies.
Yeah, I think they're finding you right now.
Yeah.
Like
That's
that guy.
capitalist mentality.
There was this
Be an
guy.
entrepreneur.
There is a defense for price gouging, like from economists.
Okay.
So it goes like this. So if you price gouge, that's good because the people it avoids people buying too much or like hoarding supplies.
Okay.
So if you put a price high enough, then like the demand is gonna go low. So then there's enough supply. As much like as long as you charge more for it, then everyone can get something as long as they can afford it.
But the
Where if you leave it at a low price, everyone's gonna buy a lot of it, and you're not gonna have enough. However, that still hurts poor families and poor people who can't even afford it in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the mentality that
Yeah.
Jess was talking about.
I mean,
So I think the best option is just limiting people to 2 things.
yeah,
two
there should
packages
always
or
be a
whatever.
limit.
Yeah.
Because like no one goes into a store and buys like 8 bottles of bleach just because. Like that's kind of
They're hoarding.
Yeah. Or
don't
planning a
know.
murder.
I don't know if you heard of those 2 brothers who they like, basically hoarded Germex
Oh,
and they were
yeah.
selling it on Amazon. They bought over 17,000 hand
Oh, I heard about
sanitizer bottles. They were selling them between $8 and $70. Yeah,
But they got caught.
yeah, and I think they were forced to donate it. Forced to donate.
What's
I-
crazy is that like they asked the guy, like, do you feel bad about what you did? Do you feel sorry about what you did? He's
Oh,
like,
didn't he like the publicity of
yeah,
it?
he liked it. He was like,
Yeah.
I'm not sorry for what I did. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy.
Honestly, that would be me. Like,
He's a
fine.
businessman at heart.
yeah, I mean, $8 is fine, but 70, like, come down, bro.
$8 is fine. Oh my god, that's a lot.
That's a lot. But
I mean, my limit. Okay, it depends on the size of the bottle.
Yeah.
A small one.
nah, I would take my chances and just to wash my hands.
Yeah, true.
I mean, we do have hand soap, right? Oh, that's running out too, right?
I'm sure that's running out also.
Dish soap.
But you can just make it. So I had a Germex before the pandemic and everything. So my mom, she really likes cleaning her hands all the time. Like if she doesn't do it very often, she feels her hands dry and like dirty. Like she's used to it already. So I had a small bottle of Germex. Like you've all seen it. When I ran out, I gave it to her. I filled it up with water, and she has soap in the car now. So whenever instead of applying Germex or the Clorox wipes, she just gets soap and water and washes her hands wherever she's at. So that's happening. I gave her that because her skin started peeling off.
No.
Because it is Clorox. Like the Clorox wipes are still Clorox. Like it's
Yeah. It's not meant for contact with skin.
yeah.
But people are getting really crafty now. They're like, make your own hand sanitizer at home.
Yeah.
Make your own face mask.
Fashion.
Yeah, exactly.
This is really honestly this is going to the books. This is going into the books like
Oh, like
2020 coronavirus.
we're living through history.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Pop culture.
People are getting really creative. Somebody told me, like, during these times, usually there's a huge creative outpour from the public. So we're probably going to get a lot of works of art. And I'm not talking about TikToks. There's a lot of TikToks out there.
There's this guy.
But
TikTok is keeping us sane through this quarantine.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Tamiu going into a virtual environment. What do you guys think about that?
Well, when did this happen? We started technically it started this week because we were already on spring break, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was technically our first week of isolation.
Mm-hmm.
I was out of town for half of it. And when I came back to Laredo, I was like, what happened? Because we were on lockdown. And I looked around and it looked like an apocalypse swept over us. I was like, what happened? Well, to be fair, I did come back at like 9 at night when everything was closed. But like, it was kind of scary, honestly.
Some girl on the Tamiu Student Network, I guess like it was a joke. She put a photo of the campus and it was empty. She's like, guys, where's everybody?
I saw that.
Like she's going to class and it's empty.
Somebody put in the comments like, I thought this was a joke, guys.
They're so funny.
And I saw that, well, we've been in quarantine officially for like probably a week now.
I think a week
About
today.
a week. Yeah. I saw on TikTok this girl commenting like, she looked at the camera and she was like, when you find out that U.S. students are complaining about being on lockdown and out of school, but you've been out of school since January.
Whoa.
She was a student in Singapore. So, yeah, it was like crazy that they've been out of... I cannot imagine being in quarantine for that long.
I know. Honestly, it's very, very difficult. I know before the quarantine and before spring break, my schedule was full. Like hectic. It was class, meeting for orgs, work, more meetings, events, and then all of a sudden they're like, everything's canceled. So now I have too much time on my hands.
I know.
I don't know what to do. I just got Disney Plus. Hopefully that works.
And then you
non-sponsored.
And then you see Blackboard and you have like 17 notifications from your professor.
I've had constant emails from professors like about what we're gonna do, and I feel like they're uncertain as well. Like, I'll let you know how we're gonna do this.
It's been a week
Even some
already.
professors who they haven't gotten back to the students whatsoever.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm a nursing student and we started on Monday. Like, I know you guys are supposed to be out for this week, right? Like you don't have classes this week, or you do?
No, we don't have classes this week until April 3rd.
Oh, okay.
April 3rd is when the virtual environment begins officially.
Really?
Yeah.
Officially.
Oh, okay. So, like for me, we have I'm supposed to graduate in May. We have a certain number of clinical hours that we have to meet in order to graduate and qualify for graduation with the Board of Nursing, which like we don't have. That's separate from Tamiu. That's a statewide requirement. So we had a test scheduled for yesterday. Today's Tuesday, correct?
Yes.
We're losing track of
Everything
days.
feels like a Sunday now.
I know. I lost track of time. But yeah, I had a test yesterday and then I had a meeting today with my professors, online, of course, not in public. But we had an online meeting about it and we're still working. We still have to do our hours in another way. We're going to actually do a video on coronavirus and we'll see how that turns out. It's going to be on YouTube. So I just feel like I don't want, personally, I want to bring like more positivity and less coronavirus news, because I know that it's kind of overwhelming, especially for people who have anxiety and people who have different anxiety disorders, or like people who just thrive off of being with other people and then being at home locked all day. It's kind of like, you know?
It was very difficult for me at the beginning. Like, I would wake up in the middle of the night because now I have too much energy because I'm not doing anything. I just work for 3 hours a day and that's it. So it's tough.
Yeah.
I got a praying mantis now.
What?
Yeah, I came back from home and I got a praying mantis and now I'm not as lonely.
I want to see it.
And a TV. I didn't have a TV. Yeah, I just got one.
What's your mantis's name? Does it have a name?
I don't know what it is yet. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. The doctors didn't tell me. So as soon as I know, it will have a name. And you'll hear it here first.
Give it like an androgynous name. Or what's it called? A unisex name.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it Enigma because I don't know what it is.
Do that. Yes.
Pretty cool.
That's a cute name.
Okay, my praying mantis's name is Enigma.
So about like the learning environment, I know that a lot of the students have been talking about it and wondering, like, this is a time of like a lot of uncertainty where people want to know from the professors, like, what is the next step? And unfortunately, like, you know, the professors are just as taken aback as we are. They really don't know really what's going to go on until, you know, the higher ups, like the administration tells them, and then that administration has another administration that needs to tell them. And this is all happening really quickly. So a lot of students are kind of left, like, unfortunately, like the housing residents who just don't know what's going to happen, and it's very uncertain for them.
Yeah.
So
I also have some classes where we have groups in those classes. And, you know, in those groups, we would get together and we would talk about the lesson or such. And now we're supposed to do our own meetups online. But then now, like, everyone's schedule is so different now. I mean, some of us have time, but some of us have work, and some of us don't have work.
Yeah.
And it's just hard because before you would just meet in class, you do your group, and you'd leave. And now we all we have to find a time to all get together online and record it ourselves, like doing our facilitation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another issue because now that certain businesses are really like packed with people. I know like some nursing students who work at HEB. Right. We were talking about it today at our meeting. Like, are we going to be having class online, like recordings, and you guys do it on your own, or are we going to have live classes like we usually do, and we'll just do them at the time we're scheduled? But an important point was that some of these students now, they're kind of being asked to go work at times where they normally aren't. So they are unfortunately unable to do their regular.
Yeah. I mean, speaking for myself, I was always a closer because I had school in the morning and then I go to work in the afternoon, and that was my schedule for the longest time. But now, since I technically don't really go to campus anymore, I work in the morning, sometimes I work in the afternoon, so like my schedule's super irregular. So it's just like it complicates if I have to go back to doing like online stuff. Now I have to like let my work know, and then that's less hours for me because we're already cutting back on hours. And then that's like less money for me to like pay for my bills. And I know I'm not the only one. Like, a lot of people are going through this. Yeah. I'm a little bit more fortunate because I'm still working as opposed to many who are not even working at all.
Yeah. I guess right now everyone is just living day by day.
Right.
I mean, going into that, what's gonna go on with the bill that were adults supposed to get $1,000?
So. Okay, we'll get into that, and we'll go super in-depth into it. Okay. But let's hear more Tamiu's opinions before we get into that. But I'm excited for that, too.
All right. So we had left an open question about what students' thoughts were on the student network. We wanted to see kind of what some people had to say about the change since COVID-19. So I don't know if you can read some of them.
So a lot of people did reach out to us and voice their concerns about transitioning to an online environment. Araceli said, "It's a difficult transition for sure. I'm currently a senior about to graduate, and the reason I chose face-to-face for my last 4 classes was because of the level of difficulty of the courses. Transitioning to online will be hectic." And then we had another comment that came from Liliana, and she said, "I don't have Wi-Fi at home. I feel like some classes are better in person. I have never taken online courses before." So a lot of people were saying that it's going to be tough for them because they're so used to having like face-to-face interaction with their professors, and online is just going to restrict like their learning styles. Yeah. And then the Wi-Fi thing is also a big concern because not everyone has laptops or computers, and a lot of them relied on coming to campus and using like the library computers. Yeah. And then, well, now they're stuck at home, so what are they going to use now?
Like,
yeah.
I had a test this Monday and I didn't have a webcam because my laptop is ancient and it's literally a rock. It's just for show, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work. So I needed to go out and order one from Best Buy to go curbside pickup, and that was on Friday, and they only had 3 left. Like, of all the webcams, those were the 3 last webcams that they had. So I know that the library usually has some for rent for students who don't have webcams, but I know that a lot of people don't have webcams, and right now a lot of people need them. So
I know that we're going to transition to online. Are we going to be using like Zoom like all the other schools
So
will be?
I have a class, my professor already emailed about us. We're using Blackboard Collaborate.
What is that?
I have no idea.
I don't know what that is.
That's going to be a new experience. He did say that we're going to be able to like have a chat and Blackboard Collaborate, and we can like virtually raise our hands. I just
That's
don't
like
know.
Zoom.
Right. Yeah, I think it's exactly like Zoom. I just don't know if we have to do like the webcam recording ourselves. I mean, I guess we'll find out like in a week or so.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had online classes before. I think I had one that was like American Pop. And the way that I thought that they were going to do it was like that class. So the professor would basically have like videos of him like kind of explaining a lecture, and then just have students work from there. But I think it'll be tough, like making all students get in front of a camera and then like participating. I think that's too much, and we don't have enough time or resources to do that. So I think they should go more like towards the traditional route that the American Pop
like pre-recorded lessons.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just like a regular online class that you would sign up for.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would have to make it so difficult to transition into
like
that.
a live setting.
Yeah, I think it's too hard. So
It's a little
we'll
hard.
see how it will go.
Yeah, I think my psychology professor is doing that. She said that she's going to be recording herself talking about the lecture, and then we're going to be able to view the video on our own
okay.
time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I guess some professors are handling different. I guess what they're
Yeah.
comfortable with.
Yeah.
I think it's like a big miss though for like the art students or like the studio students, like for comm, because I was taking a broadcasting class and I basically get all my knowledge from doing like all the production stuff in person.
Hands-on work.
Yeah, hands-on works, and like now it's been taken away completely. It just kind of went to waste. I'm not gonna get that skill that I was like
Right.
signing up for.
Well, let's talk about the Wi-Fi also.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because we have that comment left by Liliana, and I also have another friend of mine, and she wanted for me to mention her concern, and it was the same thing about Wi-Fi. So I've heard Spectrum is offering 2 months for free for students. And I think back home, I went to Roma this past week for my quarantine, and Spectrum was working on the weekends, and it's super weird. I think it was on a Sunday, the Sunday before I came here. So I guess students are taking advantage of the Wi-Fi. Just, it's only 2 months, so use it for homework.
yeah. I think Dr. Arenas had sent an email on Dusty on how exactly to get it, but I know that it has to be a new subscription. So you have to have not been a previous subscriber for Spectrum. And you have to tell them a specific phrase. When you set it up over the phone, you call them and you tell them exactly what you want, and they'll help you out with it. So yeah, it's on all the info he sent out.
Well, so the other comments was from Bradley. He said, "I hate it here." Yeah, we feel that. And then another person named Marcelo said, "I'm just trying to graduate at this point,"
Yeah.
which is very true.
It's a very unstable time. It's the roaring 20s for you.
Yeah, I mean, isn't there like a little rule where it's like if the university burns down due to a fire, everyone gets passed for the year? I mean, I'm sure they can, change
What
the
are you saying?
rules.
Basically,
I'm sure they can change the rules for like a pandemic.
If
Yeah.
the world starts burning down because of a virus, then
Yeah.
straight pass.
I mean, I think we should have that. And Tamiu is burning down right now in Lysol. So,
Did revolutionize to get our pass system.
yeah. I mean, maybe just
yeah.
if you have like an A so far in the class, they should just give you an A already.
Oh, so you mean like honor the grade that you have and see it through?
Yeah, like
But
just
what if you're
finalize it.
failing?
Well, you had half of the semester,
Oh,
so
No.
I say A's for everybody.
Yeah, that sounds better.
Well, I really think I'm gonna get hated. Damn it. I really think it's gonna be easy for students to waive their grade this semester.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I mean, you can't tell a student, no, like, I'm not going to listen to your situation. Like,
Yeah.
everything you told me is invalid. Like, no, you have to be understanding because everyone's
Yeah.
handling the
Yeah,
situation
My
differently.
professors have been very forgiving.
Yeah.
And their
Yeah.
tone when they send like their emails.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just stressful for everyone right now. Also, for those students, I know we had a student in class who was from Germany and he went back home. Like, there was no reason for him to stay here whatsoever. So, like, what's going on? Like, with his situation, he won't have access to the lab anymore, to the programs, to the cameras, to anything. So, is it really fair? Like, does he have to find stuff on his own back home? Like, what's going on, you know? Like, I know it's stressful for everyone, and they've been trying to do this as best as they can, but it's just not enough. Like, there's a bunch of different cases going on, every student individually. Yeah.
So we'll see how everything plays out, and hopefully we all do really good and we graduate.
I mean, everyone should still try their very best.
Yes.
I know I will. It's just a little stressful at the moment, but I'm kind of up for the challenge, you know?
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, I think the classes will be manageable. Just don't forget your deadlines, because then you'll have like 5 missed assignments,
Oh, yeah.
2 missed quizzes. We don't want to be those people.
Which is why
so-
people don't take online classes in
Exactly.
general, because they're afraid of those type of things happening.
I hate online courses. I only take them in the summer because it's necessary. Like, I have to go back home.
Yeah.
Set reminders.
Quick
just in
tip:
case.
if your professors are the kind that upload all the drop boxes for the year at the beginning, go onto Blackboard and then go onto the calendar and write down every deadline that's on the calendar, because it will put all the drop boxes that are open together in one place.
Nice.
So that's what I use.
Thank you, Emily.
So about politics.
Okay. So I really wanted to just talk about the Trump administration and what they're doing to handle the pandemic that we have. And I kind of want to talk about like what it was going to be, what it turned out to be, and what the future of it's going to be. So like a past, present, and future of the bill. So if we go back in time, maybe about 2 weeks ago, we had like all sorts of like different like propositions that are going around. So another conversation started with UBI, which got a lot of people's attention because it was like, okay, we're all gonna get money. That was changed. So, well, let me just go into the actual bill and what it has. So this is a stimulus bill, and this is just the math of it and how much each individual is gonna get. So it's $1,200 for all individuals earning up to $75,000 a year,
Okay.
or $150,000 for couples if you do like a joint tax return. $500 per child. $0 if you earn above $99,000 a year. This is based on your 2018 and 2019 tax return. However, if you didn't do your 2018 or your 2019 tax returns, you're not going to get anything because you should have done it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you should be getting sued for that.
I know. They should have like an audit. But, so when you talk about UBI, you talk about like a monthly payment that you get. So maybe like $1,000 a month, or as long as like you need to. That was changed on the actual bill. Now it's just a one-time check. So the check is going to come once, not monthly, like how I know Mitt Romney was calling for like a UBI style. I think Trump mentioned it a couple of times, said it was going to be a good idea. But ultimately, this is just what it boiled down to. So I have 2 examples. So let's say you're a family of 4 that earns less than $150,000, which I think that's the majority of the people, especially here in Laredo. You'll earn like a check of $3,400. So
One single check?
one single check.
Oh.
Right. If you're a single mother of 2 that earns less than $75,000 a year, you'll earn $2,200. And if you're a single person that earns less than 75, you get just your $1,200.
So it depends on like who filed taxes. So let's say you're a student, but you file your taxes separately from your parents, then
Right.
you as an individual will get a check if you make less than that amount.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So in the bill, there's this $500 billion exchange stabilization fund, and it's a fancy phrase, but it's a stimulus package for like corporations. So it's sort of a bailout that happened like in 2008. It's kind of like a repetition of that. And like, not to say the Democrats aren't pro-corporate because they're super pro-corporate. I think the reason that where it didn't pass is because it gives the Republicans too much power over it. So the head of Treasury, which is Steve Mnuchin, at his discretion, give money to corporations he chooses to, and he doesn't have to undisclose their names or the amounts. So I think like Democrats are as pro-corporate as anyone else. I just think that they don't like that they can do that without saying who they're giving it to. And that was one of the main reasons where it did it pass the floor. And you had like these Democrats saying that they're doing the bare minimum for people, giving this one-time check, who for some it might help, for some it'll barely cover any expenses that they have. You know, a $1,000 check might be enough for your rent for 1 month. And what about like the rest of like your bills that you have? You have a quote that I got from John Tester. He's a Democrat from Montana. He said, "It really isn't putting workers and small businesses first. And you've got a $500 billion slush fund. I think it's important to just target it for the people and the businesses. You just don't throw money out like it's confetti." So I think the conversation that's going to be held now, and I think you're already seeing it, is Republicans are blaming Democrats for not, you know, letting this money go out to people. And it's saying, you know, Democrats, you know, they're to blame. They don't want you to get your money. They're hurting the economy. And then you have Democrats saying, well, the Republicans are doing too much for these corporations. They're not doing enough for you. You need to fight for more. Yeah. So we're kind of at this stalemate, and there's going to have to be an agreement soon. So I guess we're just waiting on the future of how that's going to turn out.
With this whole administration, it's been really hard to get anything to pass because we have one party being Republican, one party being Democrat. And, you know, whenever that happens, nothing really can get passed. They spend most of the time arguing, but this is something that needs action right away.
So, like, the Democrats control the House right now, and then the Republicans control the Senate.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
So, if the Senate comes out, which they did with the stimulus bill, the Democrats, like, shut it down. And then if the Democrats make their own bill in the House, they're going to shut it down at the Senate for the Republicans.
It's like a never-ending
Yeah.
cycle.
And you know how I said everyone was being tested right now? Honestly, this is where the government is gonna show their true colors. Right. This is where we're gonna know if they care more about their ego and their political party or if they care more about us.
Yeah. I mean, also at the same time, it's like just because either party throws a bill, just don't accept that first like draft. Like look into it and see what it's really about. And then they need to work together to make something that works for everybody. Because I feel like each party is kind of just helping certain people out.
Yeah.
So as Americans, we should really look into these bills and like scrutinize them and make sure that they're the best.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is going to be a victory for Republicans because Trump has to sign it. So although the Democrats can like slip in a little bit more provisions that can help people, I think the Republicans are still going to call this a victory no matter what, which is fine. I mean, as long as like people get something, I think that's fine. I think they should be done more. Maybe good news or bad news. I'm not sure how y'all want to take this. This package is designed to last for 10 to 12 weeks. So it's just like a one-time thing. However, if it gets worse, they could revisit this and change some of the stuff. So although it's a one-time check, if this continues and we're still on quarantine, and we're still on lockdown, and people still can't afford to like pay their bills, we might be looking at another bill like this in like the coming month.
That makes sense. Why they would want, because if they can just revisit it, I mean, why would they make such a commitment to providing several months worth of checks when they can just revisit it and then reinstate it, basically renew it?
I think the fear also is like, okay, so they have to come back to this in 10 to 12 weeks if it gets worse. What are both sides going to try to slip in this new version of the bill? So is it going to be more like corporate bailouts? Is it going to be like more money that shouldn't be going to like these places? So it's like, I just wanted to get them right on the first time, so we don't have to be coming back to this all the time.
Yeah.
And I think it's also like this like illusion of people thinking that in 10 weeks we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Which I think that's like an understatement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, guys,
That was going to get worse. So
They need to stop trying to be sneaky and just like, I wish they could. I really wish. I don't know if they can, honestly. I'm not a poli sci major, but like if they could just break it up maybe and pass. I know that they want to try to sneak in some things in the larger bill. That's the purpose of it. But like it would be nice if they could at least pass like the check thing already so that people know they can count on it.
That's true.
Like I wish they could remove it and like set it aside. But that's their bargaining chip. That's what they use so that they can pressure the other side.
Yeah.
So.
But I think it is possible because of SMOAs. That's basically what we do.
Like amendments and such.
Yeah. We'll be talking about SMOAs later on.
So I want to bring up something that's going on right now that's being like kind of spearheaded by Trump and like the administration too. And I'll just say by reading his tweet, and this is quoted. This is not me speaking. Our people want to return to work. They will practice social distancing and all else. And seniors will be watched over protectively and lovingly. We can do two things together. The cure cannot be worse, by far, than the problem. Congress must act now. We will come back strong.
I feel like we can read that in his voice. Our people want to return to work.
That sounded amazing. That should be the intro.
So this whole line, I think we're going to be hearing about it more in the news. It's the cure cannot be worse than the problem.
That makes no sense.
So if that's confusing, I'll break it down. So for now, the cure for this like whole pandemic is quarantine and lockdown, for people to stay at home to avoid spreading the infection. The reason it's worse than the problem, according to like Trump and other Republicans, is that if people stay home and people are not working and not like supplying the economy is going to fail, like it is right now. Everything's like in the lowest that we've ever seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. So that's why he wants people to go out to work, earn money, spend that money, and hopefully it will like supplement the economy for a bit. But then people are coming out of their homes, they're working, they're like touching stuff. You know, it's an easier way to like spread the infection, and all this to like supply the economy, which might still crash at the end of the day.
And ultimately, like this, they need to stimulate the economy by giving aid to people. That's the whole purpose of government aid. Like in these kinds of situations, if there's any time where we need government aid, it's this time. This is where we need to prevent the economy from going into a recession, and then maybe hopefully not a depression like the last 20s. Everyone's been saying like
that's
this
a
is
repeat of history.
Yeah, it's a repeat. I hope not. I hope that it changes, but if they don't, do something soon, then it's only gonna get worse. So
exactly, it's like first take care of the people, make sure they're healthy, and then they can go out and go shopping and boost the economy again.
Right. So the fear is that, okay, if we do that, let's say we follow Trump's plan.
Okay.
But what if people still keep getting infected? And we have to do another quarantine and another lockdown. Then the economy is still going to crash again. So we're just going to be repeating ourselves like it's going to work. And I mean, we can't really say for sure if it's going to work. But people are still getting sick. And I think they're still going to be getting sick like 10 weeks from now.
Yeah, like especially if they go back to work. I mean,
yeah, we really need to like reinforce this quarantine. And then on top, I mean, I know nowadays, since we have online shopping, it's very easy to stimulate the economy from home. So you can be at home, quarantined and safe, and then do your little online orders and like do, like get your
curbside.
Your what?
¿Cómo se llama? HEB what?
Yeah, HEB curbside.
That's so true. I never thought about that because the way that I think about it is like, oh, we have to physically go to stores and buy stuff to help the economy, but no, it's like online
it's
too.
Easy. Yeah, we
honestly,
just the assistance.
Yeah, if people were following procedures and staying at home, we could also be providing jobs. We could be hiring even more people for them to deliver groceries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just starts with getting people healthy. Like that's the main thing.
So you said that, okay, so going back like to the beginning of the podcast, you said the TikTok that you saw was a girl from Singapore, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So Singapore has been on lockdown since like January, because as soon as the cases started coming up, they just like locked down the whole country immediately. That's why they've been on lockdown for such a long time. However, us over here in the States have been taking forever. And now that we're in lockdown, we already want to end it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
It just started.
We're already like tired of it.
We're going crazy already.
Yep.
So I mean, that's kind of like the same thing with Italy. Like they acted too late, and now they have like this huge number of cases.
Yeah.
And I think if we
Deaths.
try to do this too, we're also going to go in the same direction that Italy is going to.
Yeah.
If we don't continue this quarantine or lockdown.
We're doing literally the minimum possible. Like,
Right.
we're even letting people go work. So we're not doing enough so that we can prevent people from getting sick.
Yeah.
I mean, it is scary to be kind of locked indoors, but, you know, if it's for everybody's safety, I don't mind being indoors, like
Yeah.
in SpongeBob.
Indoors.
And I mean, it's helping people to live longer, you know, especially our grandparents. We can enjoy them a couple of years more, even if it's months.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So-
I mean, you have this like fight of like what's the priority, like the people of the country or the economy who like Trump says will cause a bigger collapse in the future and will cost more lives if the economy collapses. I
don't
mean, that's
think
an argument to be made. However, I think the prominent discussion to be made is about COVID
Yeah.
and like lives now. They're trying to rush us to kind of go back to normalcy and start spending again and kind of get back to our routines and schedules. But I think they're not saying that because of this, like nothing is going to be normal how it used to be.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to adapt to a lot of different things, especially if we're going to continue being on a lockdown.
Yeah.
A lot of things are going to have to be changed differently. And we're not going to be we're not ever going to be able to go back to that normal like situation that we were in.
Yeah.
In order to flatten that curve,
Yeah.
as they say, what other types of rules or like restrictions should like our governments make in order to make a better lockdown? What do you think?
Okay, so Trump wants us to go back to normal like by Easter Sunday, which is like so close. That's April 12th. Luckily, I mean it's kind of on the governors and even like your mayors to like impose their own restrictions. So although maybe the U.S. officially won't be on lockdown, Laredo could still be on lockdown if like the city council decides so. So and ultimately it depends on like your local government too and your state government. But as of now, I don't have that much faith on like the federal government.
Yeah.
So they had a virtual town hall on Fox News
Oh.
where they had like the Corona Task Force, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That's led by like Mike Pence. So like Trump was there too. So they're all sitting like on the White House lawn in the back.
They were like 3 feet away from each
Yeah,
other.
they're all sitting in chairs. And they were talking about testing kits and how like these testing kits, you know, they're being used sparingly. They're only being used if like they really need to use these testing kits. And Mike Pence, and I'll try to put it in if I can find it. He said, "Do not get tested if you do not have any symptoms."
One of the ways you can make sure the testing's available for people that have symptoms, and just as importantly for our healthcare workers that we want to make sure have all the protective equipment that they need, you can recognize that if you don't have symptoms, don't do a test.
Which, as we know, that Corona is like asymptomatic, and you can be carrying Corona even if you don't have any symptoms, like his Republican colleague, Rand Paul, who got a confirmed case of Corona and he had no symptoms at all.
Wasn't he like swimming like in the pool or something like that?
Yeah, and he also like declined. He also voted no on the bill, like on the original one to like give like I think the original one was made by the Democrats, and he voted no on that one, and now he also has like Corona. So I don't know. I think it's just like
It's just a bad combination and misinformation, and it just makes it worse, honestly.
You know what? I honestly think the government is like going back to the economy. Sorry. Going back to the economy, I think it's the business people, like the corporations who they want for us to go back shopping.
Right.
Because they don't need the money. They have a bunch of money, but they want more.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they're just making people afraid. You know?
And it's the same reason where like some businesses haven't closed down even though they're not essential. Like I know, GameStop was still open because they called themselves essential.
They are essential for quarantine.
Yeah, they're saying that they provided for like people's mental needs and like
Well,
personal happiness.
the video game industry is making more money than movie and music industry
as of
right
now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
No, they've been doing that like for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of get like it's that same greed by the owners, the CEOs. That's why they don't want to close. Like if they're making so much money on a regular basis, imagine in quarantine. I thought about getting a Nintendo Switch.
I think we all have.
I
I've been
wanna-
talking about it.
We
But
talked about
just
it.
because Animal Crossing was released on the 20th.
Non-sponsored.
Not sponsored. But Animal Crossing, I was thinking of literally getting a Switch just for that game.
Yeah.
And I mean, what better time than during quarantine?
I know we're gonna be stuck at home.
Yeah.
So before we close the segment, because I think I already exhausted everything about it, I don't think people want to hear about it anymore. Juan has a quote that he wants to share with us.
So Charles Darwin said, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change."
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. We
Okay,
should put some...
I thought I was gonna be morbid when you said Charles Darwin.
No, it's really good, honestly. We should put some clapping sound effects there.
So thank you for listening to our episode this week. We'll be back next week, hopefully, if we can see each other, because we're still in quarantine and lockdown, so it might make it harder. But we'll try to get an episode out for next week. And thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you very much.
Follow us on social media.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.